It's Monday again. It's the Corey Holcomb 5150 Loco Crazy Hour. Yeah. And we got another one of those topics that I know are going to have people calling in upset, pissed off at me. Darlene, you ready for this week?
Oh, shoot.
Have you got your facts together and everything?
No, I don't. But this is a lot to work with. Man.
Me and Miss Darlene Ortiz, I know we're going to get it this week. Here it is. Is church a hustle or a true stairway to heaven? Call in, 877-210-6106. Voice your opinion, because we about to dig in and go in on this topic. Corey Holcomb, 5150 Show. Yeah, we are back. Corey Holcomb, 5150 Show. I know I'm going to get in trouble this week.
Yeah, you don't mess with this.
We got things lined up. We got experts in the audience that we're going to bring up to talk about this topic. Is church a hustle or a true stairway to heaven? 877-210-6106 is the number. We are live at the Conga Room or LA Live, whatever they want to call it, right across where the Lakers play. If they come back they got to come back to LA, right?
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Why do we even bring this topic up?
Because it's just a never ending. You could just go on and on and on. You got all these different opinions, and all I know is that I've been told I've got a VIP and a first class ticket to hell, over and over and over again.
And you were told that why? Because
I don't go to church.
Right.
I'm like, really? Wow.
You don't go to church, you're going to hell.
And everybody that has told me that, I'm so much better person than they are.
Oh.
So
you
much.
put them out there.
I'm not playing. It just so happens. Well, I'm talking about people that I know, not people that from afar that say, oh, yeah, look at her. She is going to hell.
I just see things
they don't know me.
That go on in church that make me question why they do that. Like there was a friend of mine who went to some church. It was in Ohio. Anyway, he had on some Timberlands, and they were tripping about what he had on. And I would just ask someone, why are we here?
Right. No, a good story. My ex, of course, he lost his drummer in his band, devastating to cancer, and it was the first time I've ever seen him cry. And he's getting ready to do the eulogy, and the big fuss in the church was, no, he can't get up there because he's got a hat on. You know what I'm saying? He had his little Run DMC type hat. Like, and he was like, what? Are you serious? I'm getting ready.
I believe you. There are people, what I like to say about them, they got a little too much church in them. They go too far with it, in my opinion. I mean, and if I'm wrong, I'm open to hear where I'm wrong.
But to some, so who's to say? Because it's, again, somebody's opinion, but they're going to keep quoting, it's the Bible, it's the Bible. So if it didn't come from the Bible, you're wrong.
Yankee hats weren't out when Jesus was walking the earth. At least that's what I think. So if the main thing is, they're worried about people dressing disrespectfully or whatever, I think that takes a lot away from somebody who's coming to church.
Right, who's there to want to be right.
Like most people, they go to church to get the word. I mean, You got fucked up people like me who go for the hoes and shit like that. But I'm just saying, it happens. Nobody wants to admit it, but it's a lot of lost women in church that the preacher don't reach all the time. That's why I'm there, because I got something to talk to him about.
No, but seriously, there's
a lot of times the preachers get mad because
I bet, boy, I tell you, it starts.
I know what he's up to.
The building starts shaking.
He's here because I'm here. No, anyway.
Silly.
Bible Belt. Make sure y'all call in and weigh in on this topic, and don't be scared to call in. A lot of people are, they're like, "Ooh, I don't know if I want to mess with that." If you're scared to speak about it, I think
there's something wrong.
Yeah, that's something really wrong too.
Right. Because this is a choice. I don't look bad on anybody else that says, "Oh, I'm a Buddhist." I'm okay. Are you a good? I'm going to judge that person on how they are with me. Period. That's it.
Yeah, and I just think that there's a lot of people who are Christians because that's what they were brought up around.
If it makes them a good-hearted person, I got absolutely no problem with it. So I don't understand why it doesn't come the other way.
Let's break some calls in. Wood from Los Angeles. Wood, talk to me.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Corey?
Hey, what's up?
Right there. Hey,
how you doing?
Man. Hey, I went to church to see my little baby, my grandbaby, baptized, and it cost me. There was an offering before the baptismal. There was an offering after the baptismal. And there was an offering, the regular offering in the church. It cost me 3 times for my baby to be baptized. So Church is a hustle from that point of view, but then there is the people who are getting the word. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a beautiful thing. That's great. That's why it should, you have an option. It's there for that. I hear you.
Should there be like a limit on how many offerings a church can have in a day? Should they have legislation put together?
That's a good one. Exactly. If somebody just has $1 to give, how can you give and then everybody rolls their eyes at you? That's a
good thought to bring up. Yeah. We got another call. Dum Dum, Florida. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, man?
What's up, Dum Dum?
Chilling, man. I got want to make a statement. A lot of people get church confused. Bible say church walks and talks. So, the people that are saved and believe in Jesus, they're supposed to be the church. As far as going to church, you're supposed to already have the church in you. And, a lot of people, when it comes to the pastor, church is tax-free. They feel as though they ain't got to pay. A lot of people don't pay taxes. And, they got the whole conception of, because if you don't do this in church or you don't pay this, you don't pay your offering, you're going to hell, and that's not that. God judges your heart, not your wallet.
I agree, 100%. Especially with, the corruption that's been found out, about how things get out in the church, the offices of the church and everything. It's like it's almost taboo to speak on it, to question what they're doing.
Right. It gets too technical, then it becomes kind of strange and kind of sad. Like I said, look, the church is there. What if I don't go to church on a regular basis, but when I do visit and I go home, I'll go with my grandma to the same one. We've all been baptized there, married there. I had my quinceañera there, everything, right?
I think that they need to develop, just like when you get on the bus, they have that machine that counts the money. They need a machine like that you put the offering in at church, so all the members know how much was made this week. And as it adds up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. We know how much money is chilling in the church in the name of God.
Well, there's all kinds of things that I think that they need.
That could be done just to tally up the money.
Now, here we go, though.
If you go to church, if you go to a church, I don't think you should always criticize who your reverend is just on something petty like that. But to know what's going on with the money that I'm giving in the name of God, I don't think that's much to ask. Creflo Dollar. We got my man Boss Pimp from Texas calling in. Boss Pimp, please spit the knowledge.
What's up, Corey? What's up, Finance Darlene? How y'all been doing, man?
All right.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna just lay it straight, man. Church ain't nothing but a hustle. The last church I went to, man, preacher pulled up. Cadillac long at the church, more diamonds than Little Rock, and I kid you not, man. They took up about 6 offerings, and they had an ATM in the lot. So what's that? You know what I'm saying? That really don't make no sense, man. I just see it as a hustle, man. It ain't no true church anymore. Not where I'm at anyway. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. I'm glad you voiced that opinion, because that's why I did this show. I went to a church my mother took me to, and the man had, I probably said this before, but I'm going to say it again. He had 2 different lines. He had the line where if you're giving over $50, you stand in this line. No. And if you're giving under $50, he had another line. And people actually stood up in the $50 line with their head high.
Looking
and the people
down on the
with the under $50 line was looking like, I wish I was in the $50 line. That's cold mind game. Wow. That's pimping.
That's sad.
That's pimping, baby. Whoever that reverend was, I'm trying to be like you. Anyway, we gonna take another call. Pope from PA. Pope, what up? Is this the real Pope? No, this ain't the real Pope. What up, man?
What's going on, Darlene? How you doing, sweetheart? Loving the
show. Good, sir. What's up?
All right. Yo, now check this out, man. I was dating this girl a few years ago, and she got me to come to church with her and all like that. We were feeling one another. But I went there, man. The preacher, man, had a sermon was pretty much talking about me, about niggas coming from the street, taking their sisters out from the church. Didn't even show me love. Didn't even know what I was coming there for, man. Just straight up hustle, man. Some people did me wrong, too. Talked about me and all that stuff. Didn't want to hear nothing from me or nothing. And I had to bounce. But you're true, Corey, man. There is a lot of pussy in the church, and I'm gone.
Hey, I don't know why people scared to say it, man. I don't know why people spend their money at the nightclub where you got to buy the girl drinks. All you got to do is just go to church with the Bible in your hand on Sunday. You're going to leave with the girl who drunk from the club last night. It's just everybody's scared to say that. I'm not scared to say it.
Look, all I know is that I have one crew of girlfriends that's what they get all dolled up, dressed up, ready to roll to church. You coming with us? No, I'm cool, girl. I really don't trust, men that are just there to pick up on women. But they love it. This cruel girl.
What do you mean, at church?
Yeah, are you kidding me? No, I'm like, no, I don't.
Well, that's okay. You'll be a little hard to get, but there's plenty of other women in there.
Exactly. Knock yourself out.
I'm glad you show yourself right away, so I don't got to waste time with you. I can go get on another girl in church instead of receive the word and all the rest of that stuff.
You got a whole house full on some of them.
Is church a hustle or a true stairway to heaven? 1-877-2106-106. Call us up. Hey, we finna take a break, but we're coming back with our special guest who got a little insight on all this.
Great,
I'm
please.
sure they got something to say. Give us the knowledge.
Yes.
Corey, Holcomb 5150 Show. Uh-oh. What song is this? Oh. Did you pick the song? Boy, God, crazy. Do the hustle. We let it play for the younger listeners because some of the younger listeners don't know nothing about this right here. But anyway, you can cut it. The name of the song is Do the Hustle. And the hustle is what goes on. I'm not saying it goes on everywhere, but it goes on in a lot of places. This week, the question is church a hustle or a true stairway to heaven? And it wouldn't be fair for me to stand up here and talk crazy without the church having certified voices on the show.
Right.
Darlene, please introduce.
Knowledge. We got Liston Page, who's a bishop from New Jersey.
Yes,
am I correct?
Yes,
and
Darlene.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been pastoring about 11 years. I've been in ministry for over 25 years. I wouldn't say I'm an authority on the church, but I think I have some insight.
Okay, that's what we definitely need here today.
I know you got that pastor voice. It comes real soft. I know it's going to build up as the show goes on. You are going to
Corey, calm down.
That's that pastor
his little
voice.
horns just popped out right now. Okay, look, we have Chuck Singleton, who's a pastor from Ontario, California. Right?
That's correct.
There he is. And tell us about yourself.
I am Chuck Singleton from Ontario, California.
Is there a name of it?
I pastor the Loveland Church in Ontario, California, and been there since 1981.
Okay.
Privileged to be here.
Great, thank you. We have one last guest, and it's Luther McKinstry, and he's been here before with us.
That's right.
Yes.
Say a few words about yourself.
Well, I can say that I was raised in the church all my life. But I kind of steered away from the church and then came back and went ahead with my calling on my life because, I said many times before on the show, because I went by the way of prison and then right back into the church.
Luther is like a spiritual advisor for me when I'm on the road. I have thought to do things wrong, and Luther would tell me about how that should not be done and all that. So Luther has been a good friend of mine. That's why he's on the show, and he's helping me bring these these other two guys that I'm awful with names. I'm sorry about that. But so what's up with the hustle, goddammit? Fuck all the dumb shit.
Hey, Corey.
All this soft ass talking shit like this a Donnie Simpson hour on this motherfucker.
Hey, Corey. Let me say this.
Corey, now would it be
all these soft voices.
Now, would it be wrong for me as a pastor to use that type of language that you're using tonight?
Well, all this language was taught to us by the same people who enslaved us, so fucking God bless you is the same thing to me. I'm just saying, I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. It's no disrespect at all. I have the highest respect for your authority. I'm just saying.
Your position,
please don't get mad at me. I just have a different point of view, and I'm trying to act silly with it.
Well, let's go to that. Can we go to that issue of the hustle, Corey?
Yeah, please do. Please.
There are two things. This is Chuck talking. But I think there are two things that need to be looked at. One is the average pastor's salary is under $30,000 a year in the United States of America.
That's the salary that's on the books, right?
No, that's the salary.
And if you got to get a bigger church.
Well, no, now that's not my case. In my own case, we have a church that our income will probably be over $4 million this year, but my income is about 70. Now, my point is this: that you have the unusual circumstances and the unusual folks who make a lot of noise, or who get more attention, and because of their noise and attention, it appears that all pastors and all churches are the same. We're regulated by the laws of the state of California, in our case, other states as well. We have boards of trustees. They set salaries. We have other staff. We have other expenses besides just giving the preacher a new Cadillac. I don't drive a Cadillac. I drive a GMC, used GMC, in fact, SUV. And for the most part, you don't have the kind of excesses that most people look at when they get one or two names, like the one you called accidentally about 20 minutes ago.
Who did I call?
I don't know.
I called Creflo.
Was that what you said?
Yeah, that was what I said. Okay. No, what I'm saying is, listen, I don't believe all pastors have bad intentions, but I do believe there's a lot of them.
It's a good.
I would say half.
I agree with that.
I would say half.
I agree with that.
No, I wouldn't agree with half. And you see,
I wouldn't agree with half, but I agree with what you're saying. There are some leaders who misrepresent their authority and their leadership. But that's not everybody.
And the money.
And what can we? Is there something we can do about that? As like people who, who go to church, and a lot of people, the naive, put a lot of faith into these guys who come across as pastors,
like Chuck said.
Like
Chuck said, most legitimate ministries have a board of directors, have trustees that they're accountable to, that regulate their salaries, then make sure they fall under the 501c3 status.
Now that one we don't know. I don't know anything about that. 501c3.
And who watches and who?
That's nonprofit.
It's nonprofit.
Let me write that down.
But who regulates the trustees? In other words, like outside of the church, then who? I mean,
it's like if the board of
they're all
directors
in on it together.
Well, no, they're regulated by the state.
But since it's religion, wouldn't you think that people wouldn't really want to step on too many toes? Is that how they get away with it?
No, our church has been audited by the IRS 3 or 4 times, and other churches have. We come under heavier scrutiny than most other businesses, and that needs to be recognized. The reality is that these boards of trustees recognize their responsibility. They handle their responsibilities most of the time pretty responsibly. I'm sorry, Darlene, go ahead.
So in other words, the ones that we do witness getting away, so what's going on? Are they actually getting away with it?
I wouldn't say they're getting away with anything. I think that they're being scrutinized because of why we're here tonight.
So in other words, they really do have the excess cash and money to look and live the way that they're living. In other words, it's okay.
I don't see anything wrong with anyone living a particular lifestyle as long as they're earning the money properly.
And then
as long as they're paying their taxes to the government properly. I don't think that anyone should take advantage of people to live palatious lifestyles. But you're right. We have seen others abuse the system of nonprofit. We see that.
Right.
But that's not everybody.
And Corey, you do have some that are pastoring that have other businesses outside of the church, own real estate, that they own business they even had before they even started pastoring.
Is it frowned upon if a pastor has a liquor store besides the church? Because I'm saying, like, liquor stores make a lot of money.
Corey, what pastor do you know that have a liquor store?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Well,
you know what? Really for to ask me that?
You know what? Since you're gonna bring that
my
up,
good brother Don Juan had a church, and it was jam packed.
Since you're from Chicago, James Meeks, who pastors in Chicago, shut down all of the liquor stores in his area where he pastored his church at.
How did that mean he had some type of power?
Well, I think he's even a senator now.
Well,
he was a congressman,
it
right?
wasn't so much his power; it was the power of the people in his church,
right? That followed
the movement that grew up from it. But let me point out, he was on the opposite end. He's a good friend. I've spoken at that church.
That's R. Kelly's pastor, I heard.
Indeed, but he
is the church real pissy? I couldn't resist it. I'm sorry.
What does he mean by that? Well, let me show you this about Meeks. See, he's on the opposite end of that thing with alcohol. Because they have, just like we have, a drug and alcohol program to help people who have come under the spell of alcohol and drugs to help them get off of it. And that's expensive. Now, I don't believe in 4 or 5 offerings. We have one at our church. And most churches that are doing it successfully know that people ain't going to keep on getting up giving money. Most people are going to look at it like you. Even the faithful, even the regular members of the church, don't want to be asked 4 times every Sunday to give money. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I just don't want it to seem like I'm coming across on people. If you're a pastor at a church, that means you're probably up to no good, because I don't think that way. Mm-hmm. But I'm not blind.
Or the people that attend it too. I don't feel that way either. I don't want people to think that I'm looking at everybody that goes to church and gives money, that they're wrong. No, I have great people that I know around me that makes them a better person, and that's great. But a lot of them, they're breaking themselves just to either give money to the church and, like I said, not just the money. How about like you said, the actual sin that goes down in a lot of those churches?
Well, that can be carried on.
And we're talking about the sleeping around because people have power, like the elders or all that they talk, and then they have the power to pull.
I mean, you guys are preachers. Wouldn't you say it's easier to get women at church by you being the authoritative figure, the preacher?
Well, we wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
No, but you know the stories. I mean,
the reality is, Court. The fact of the matter is that's true in your position, and you have pointed out that you enjoy that. That's true with anybody in any position of power. The question is, what do you do with that position of authority and power? And if you really believe what you preach, then you don't cross the line. You wear your wedding ring. You behave like a married man if you're married. You get married if you're not. You act like you should.
Right, but I think the question too is, I don't think character has anything to do with church.
You know?
No, I don't think so. I think you should have good morals and good character, even if you don't attend church. If you're married, you should be married. If you're single, you're single. I don't think that we as preachers should be targeted as the ones that are always being.
But isn't it?
But the preacher, by being a preacher at a church, and to stand up on the podium and talk, that's very impressive to girls from low income, no father homes.
Even the comedians that's on the stage is very impressive also.
What you doing?
But at least they get to laugh going home after me. After y'all, they got to feel like you and God have been let down.
That's true.
Well, that's true.
It's a higher responsibility.
And for some reason, it just seems this way that when they're the ones that do get caught, and then they make this big spectacle of themselves and ask for forgiveness, it seems like that they are. Other than somebody like an entertainer or somebody else, where they might be in the same situation where they might have had outside affairs, and they don't get the same forgiveness.
Well, I think, like Chuck said, we are held to a higher level of accountability and responsibility,
and rightly so,
and rightfully so.
So I would think that people would actually hold more of a grudge and be more turned off because that person. Do you feel what I'm saying? Like I've seen preachers really do some damage when they mess around, right? Like out there.
I just think if you are in a position
and they get it.
If you're in a position to get with women, you're going to get with women, because even in this Bible you guys preach out of, it says, isn't flesh the biggest temptation for men? So how can you turn it down?
Oh, you can turn it down.
I know you can, but I'm saying, like, do you guys turn it down?
We turn it down.
Corey, these type of issues are lightning rod subjects because many people don't like being transparent and like being real.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have the churchy language to try to make you feel like we as preachers all live right. I'm not going to do that to you.
Right.
Everybody got issues.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got struggles.
Because I got so many questions I want to ask you guys by being, in the church and you talking to people about the issues that go on in the church that I feel pertain to hustling. And I'm just asking these questions to get answers. So it's not like I'm trying to come at y'all. Because I want to ask you this about I feel like a lot of preachers don't address the homosexual males that are openly gay and wave fans and things like that in the church.
Oh, you haven't been in one of his services.
It's like you never really address it. Well, I'm saying like most preachers never really address it because it will interfere with their hustle.
No, you ain't been in one of his services.
That's not true. First of all, I don't think that we should ever bash homosexuals or lesbians. We do not agree with the lifestyle. but we love the person. So I don't think we should ever just.
Well, I don't think you should bash them, but there are children walking around the church. At my mother's church, there was a man, and he was.
Your mother church got a lot of problems.
Yeah, and I tell her that all the time.
That's a good church.
I almost said, "Damn!" But
I wish I knew the pastor's name. I would say it. I would say it out loud.
You don't know it. I'm glad you don't know it.
They've got a man who babysits the children. You know, sometimes for all the kids that are,
they need to burn that church down.
They got a guy.
That's a mess.
He watches the children, and he's one of those guys that really acts like a female. You know what I mean? And when I said I didn't want him watching my son acting like that, everybody in the church turned against me.
Well, you were correct, and let me say why. One of the things about it first, that church is a good.
I'm calling my mama and ask her what's the name of that church.
No, don't. Mama, please don't tell him. Don't let him know.
I'm putting him on blast.
Don't let him put this on blast.
See,
one of the things Jesus told us that we would be fishers of men. And here's the thing about catching fish: you got to catch them before you clean them. And it's important that we let folks come to church and get fixed, whatever their problem might be. Now, we don't want them to be getting fixed while they're experimenting on our children or on women. Or on men.
Right, or on men. Yeah.
Or on, male on male, women on
women. I feel taken advantage of when a grown man wink at me.
You don't feel complimented?
Corey,
like it's a compliment?
Corey, you ought to feel very much taken advantage of when a grown man. But we got to catch them before we can clean them. And it's really important to understand that when people are going through issues, when they're having problems in church, that the question on our theme today, is it the highway to heaven or stairway to heaven?
Right.
The answer is no. The church is not. The ministry is not. The Bible says Jesus is the stairway to heaven. So we don't go through the church. Right. The Lord is the way that gets us into heaven. Mm-hmm. But thank God that we have churches where we can kind of sort this thing out and hear who He is.
That's good.
The real problem.
I like that.
A lot of people need to hear that.
Oh yeah,
they don't know.
The real issue and the real problem is that when we start lifting up men, or men start lifting themselves up, and we make ourselves bigger than we ought to be. We just happen to be the one that's preaching, but all of us are sheep. We've got to take it from that angle.
877-2106-106. We're going to take a couple of calls. My man, these callers are kind of aggressive. Dre from Chicago. Dre, talk to me.
Finally. All right, first of all, Tamik did not shut down the liquor stores in his area. I'm from his area. Matter of fact, I parked my truck right across the street from the church. Second of all right, God is real. We know God is real. But everything that we have been taught since conception has been a lie. Everything. So, therefore, I think religion is a lie. But God, sure enough real, man. It's sure real. How else do you explain the hell that we live in now? Yeah.
That's a good point. But I want to say this to you, Dre. Did you ever think that the hell we live in now was all this has been okayed by God? So maybe it's like this so you can find out what you need to do to get yourself right. Maybe that's why it's so rough. That's a way to look at it, Brother Dre.
He gave us a brain to think for ourselves. It's like this. Why? Do not trust in man, only trust in me. So why am I trusting in the interpretations that another man gives me about the Bible? I can make my own interpretations because I have a brain. As long as you read it enough, you can interpret your own. Don't believe what everybody else tell you. And that's the problem, man. We've been going through all this protocol and mess, you know what I'm saying? That's all it is, man. It's all a lie. We've been lied to, man, forever. So I believe this is a lie, too. I'm sorry.
Your opinion was appreciated. I just think people got to realize God gave that man the wisdom to make the miniskirt. A lot of people don't think about it.
Spandex, huh? Spandex.
I'm going to give y'all a chance to say something here. Just let me get this other caller in. L from VA. L.
Hey, how you doing, Faso? Hey, I just wanted to say, man, I'd say 65% of the preachers out there today that actually preach are in it for the money. They really don't understand the Bible, because I learned something a long time ago. When they said the tree of life was a tree that bear the fruit, and they think the fruit is some kind of apple, the tree of life is any living species. You don't supposed to eat the flesh of any living species. That's the tree of life. Every animal has a family tree. So when you ask the preacher that and they start talking about apples and oranges, You know, vegetables are like the main, thing for humans to eat. We're actually herbivores by nature. Then they start talking about you got to give the tithes and offerings 10% of your paycheck. Right there wants to show me, when you look in the Old Testament and look at some of the old Bibles from like long time ago, they're totally different from the Bibles today. It's like stuff was actually added in to control the masses of people that were gathering at the church. That's why you got super churches with these $400 and $500 million dowries.
Man, I want God to strike you down.
He must got that revelation from prison, Corey.
Right. I mean, I try to give everybody a chance to speak. I never cut nobody out. But that man went from salad to oranges and all. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Bless his heart.
What is tree at?
Bless his heart.
Hey, I want y'all to say something about what the caller said, but let's get this one more in. Nick from Nevada. Nick from Nevada, talk to me.
So listen, here's my take on it. First of all, I don't know what dude's talking about with fruit and all that, but listen, the bottom line is this. It's one way for sure to find out whether or not God's real. And I'll tell you, because a man told me a long time ago, go directly to the source and you'll find your answer. You want to know if God's real? Just ask him. Be real when you ask the question. If he ain't real, he ain't going to answer. You don't need another man to give you that question. You don't need another man to tell you nothing. You want to answer, go directly. You're great, you know what I'm saying? You're great in the way you choose to live your life. Be strong in your conviction when you talk to that man, and he'll be strong in his response. Be careful, though, because he will answer. Now, that being said, as far as I'm concerned, preachers are good and bad. Church ain't nothing but a hospital. Go get yourself right, get back in the world, do a little good, do your thing. But I see enough people out there, man, that are sheep in wolves' clothing or whatever you want to reverse it. I don't really care. Bottom line is this. If you don't believe in God, that's fine. If you don't know if God's real, that's a different subject. Just ask him. He will answer you. But as far as all this fruit talk, bro, you're right. Dude got it from prison. Anyway, that's my thought, man. God bless all y'all.
There it is. All right,
there you go.
Nick.
Thank you. God bless you.
We gotta take a break right now. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come back and let the brothers speak on what they heard so far. And I just want to tell the brother who just got off, you do need to communicate with your fellow man, because that's why they're down here. You can learn from each other. Anyway, Corey Holcomb 5150 Show. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Peace.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Let the church say amen. Sister Johnson's about to come around with the offering plate again. I'm a little short on this car note. No, fuck that. Anyway, Corey Holcomb 5150 Show. I don't know if you've been listening, but if you haven't, you've been missing, because we got the information. We got information here. The last segment we had callers call in, and they were very opinionated about what they had to say. Brothers, I know y'all remember some of those calls.
Chuck, Luther,
please go in and
yeah.
say what you know.
Well, when I went to the seminary.
I'm sorry, I want to make sure you say your name again so people know who you are.
Liston Page.
Liston Page. Bishop.
From New Jersey.
I just found out the difference between bishop and pastor. I didn't know. You got some juice.
I'm not going to respond to you, Carl. I'm not going to respond to you. I'm not going to respond to you. When I went to the seminary, they taught us something called apologetics, which is defending what you believe. But we also taught not to enter into vain babblings. Do not produce any type of knowledge, information at all.
Thanks for defining that, because we got a lot of truck drivers in this. You said vain babbling. They don't know what that is. That sounds like a new Code 45 replacement or something.
Some of the statements that were made, they were based off of their own opinions.
Wow.
Maybe even their own experiences. The last caller made a very powerful statement, though. He said, if you really want to know God, or know the source, or know the knowledge, go to the source, which is God.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone should develop their own individual relationship with God, not just church, but with God. And I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, for us to really get to know God. And Chuck said it even better than that. Is not the way to heaven. A relationship with the Lord is the way to heaven.
There it is.
So I think what's happening is we're getting church and relationship with God all mixed in.
Do you think people who can who can talk and make good points and, go real slow like you. Do you think, like, even if they didn't have good intentions, they could be good preachers? Because, like, this radio shit ain't guaranteed. I ain't got no contract up there.
You make a good one, Corey.
Well, I'm just saying, I probably could do that.
Well, let me ask you a question. Don't you think if you went to a doctor, you would want your doctor to at least have went to medical school and graduated with a degree, saying that he is qualified to operate on you?
Right.
Correct.
Not online like some.
Correct. Corey, correct.
I would prefer that.
You wouldn't go. You wouldn't go to a doctor.
Hey man, you ain't been in my shoe. I've been some places that I knew it was bogus.
Well, I would like to think.
We got a guy. Do you guys know Pastor Ivory from Dallas? Pastor Ivory. He's on the phone. Ain't that fucked up? Cause y'all. I'm sorry. But y'all being pastors or whatever. I said, do y'all know him? Anyway, Pastor, we want to bring him in, right? Pastor Ivory, what up?
Hey, what's up, man?
You a pastor?
Enjoying the show, man, and well, appreciate you for bringing these issues up. But I really want to I need to set the record straight on a couple of things, because there may be someone who's listening to this station who really may be seeking and really may need a place of nurture and development and growth. And I don't want this negative light to be painted on all churches and all pastors. I heard one gentleman say that, I can read the Bible for myself, and it's evident to me he's not doing a lot of reading, because even the Bible itself says, I will give you pastors after my own heart. And when it's all said and done, I heard, and I agree with that the church is not the route, but then again it is, because Jesus died for the church. He established the church. And he said, I'm coming back, not for sorority, not the Eastern Stars, not for AKA, but I'm coming back for the church. And given the church is not a perfect place, it is a hospital for sin-sick people. And even as pastors, we're treating patients, but
them long-winded as pastors. I already know. People in his church be like, damn, we've been here 2 hours.
So once again, I'm not going to be able to go to heaven because I don't attend church? Is that?
No, you're not going to heaven.
What I'm saying is once you establish a relationship with God, God is going to direct you to a place where you can be developed and fellowship with believers.
There it is. I agree. What church do you want to send a plug in for your church, so maybe I can get y'all some more.
I passed the Church on the Move in Dallas, and another location in Waxahachie, Texas.
It's called Church on the Move.
Right.
Hey, Corey.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Corey.
What?
Please
don't do it. Let him have it.
Corey, let him go, Corey. Corey.
Okay, brother.
But
don't swipe your credit card nowhere. They will vamp on your ass.
But I don't think he was trying to say that if you don't go to church, you're going to hell.
Right, but the reason I keep lingering on that is because the majority of the folks that I know that do go to church, and I'm talking attend at least 4 or 5 times a week, roll their eyes when and if I do say around them that I don't attend church anymore.
Do you think Darlene is dressed appropriately for church today?
She would be comfortable in my church.
Yeah, she'd be comfortable in mine.
You will let her in church like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of church do you got going on?
Well, in the months of June, July, August,
when it gets really warm,
we have what's called dress down, and you can come casual.
Come casual?
Come as casual as you want.
So a girl can wear a bathing suit to church?
Oh, come on.
Corey.
For the benefit
you just went straight to the left.
For the benefit of your listeners, she has on long pants. Am I right?
I do.
And a blouse. She on blue jeans.
Y'all caking it up in here. She looks all nice. The listeners that can't see this, Darlene is a very attractive woman, and her whole arm is out.
Am I lying?
No, it's not.
Literally,
that
you
bad.
can see the whole shoulder.
Yeah, but it's not that bad. It's not.
The
It's
whole
not.
arm is out.
Yeah, but it's not that bad.
No, Corey, what's wrong with that? You tripping?
And what if you got church members that just got out?
Corey, you want her to have a veil over her face and everything else, don't you?
That will throw off. They thought.
But I understand you've been to the Vatican, Darlene. Is that correct?
Yes, I have twice.
What happened?
I've been.
She went to the
away.
Vatican in this outfit.
Oh, stop. No, I actually will show you the pictures because you can see us all posing in the front because they wouldn't let us inside.
She has on form-fitting pants, so you should.
Shush up. We're in the courtyard. And I had on tights, and I had on those flat, that's when Michael Jackson boots were the leather with little buckles on the side. And I had thick tights, nylons because it was cold, and a fitted black skirt, but I had a jacket that was quarter length over my...
They thought it was inappropriate?
Yes. And they said, I said, what's inappropriate about it? And they said, your skirt's too short.
I would not be able to focus on y'all message if she was sitting next to me in church with this on.
But that deals with, that's their protocol. It's like working on a regular job. You have dress code. It's their protocol.
Right. But if I was somebody and needing help, I mean, I don't think the Lord, wasn't that the whole background?
No,
That's not
that's not the question.
If she was a very obese woman, she could wear that, and I wouldn't have no problem listening to your message.
No, that would distract all of us.
No, that's not the question. The point was, could she come to our church dressed like that?
Right.
And our answers were yes. Then she raised, well, I went to Rome at St. Peter's Square, and they wouldn't let me in. Well, that is their particular protocol.
Right.
And every venue has protocol.
Right, which is kind of, but don't you think, though, that your opinion, don't you think that's a bit twisted, though?
No, if that's their
can I say
protocol.
something about that?
That is, but it's. I'm thinking, really, would Jesus have turned me away and said no?
I want to let him
that's
get in what he got to say because we got to take a few of these callers before we get off.
Now, Jesus wouldn't have turn you away because Mary Magdalene is evidence of that. He didn't turn her away.
Exactly,
but she got pregnant by somebody who said it was God.
Well, okay. But now watch this. now we gonna let you slide by on that one. But here's a short story. Years ago, our church had a rule when I first came as a 23-year-old pastor. Their rule was a woman couldn't come into church with pants on. And they quoted a verse from the Bible, misquoted the verse from the Bible. And it was an old standard across the nation that women couldn't wear pants to church. Well, the church began to grow. And one Sunday there were so many people packed in there that the ushers missed some. And when I gave an invitation for people to come to Christ, one of the people that came forward to give her life to the Lord was a woman with blue jeans on. Mm-hmm. And at that point, that changed that rule because people saw that she got the most important thing that the church was for, even though she had on jeans.
And so they finally got it too.
They got the point. Okay. They got the point. And I think that's the whole point with the whole thing. It's not what people wear on the outside, it's what's going on the inside.
Right. And
we got to take some of these callers because they handle the business for us. Marcus from Houston, you've been holding on. Please come in.
What's up, Marcus?
Come in, Marcus from Houston.
Appreciate y'all having me, man. Pretty much everybody touched on these points that I really had, but people want to take church from away from what it is. Church it's hospital. It's that place where you go to get that spiritual fulfillment. It's that place you get that other point. Now, you have to understand this coming from a man's point of view. This coming from a same man who was somewhere in the position that you was, maybe even lower, because I've met pastors who have been crackheads, pastors who have been drug dealers, pastors who have done all kind of things. So we need to focus on not the man, but the man. I think that's one of the things that people stray away from. And, because I'm from Houston. This is home of the biggest congregation in the world. We got Joel Osteen with his church. Like I said, it's the biggest church. And you got to wonder sometimes, don't get me wrong, when you see these pastors up here living in multi-million-dollar homes, the pastor of my church lives in a multi-million-dollar home. He drives, he has a driver. He drives around in a big 500. You get to wondering. But you can't look at what another man has. You got to look at what you have and what you have put into the table to accept God and to come into this Christian world. So, people need to stop pointing the blame and stop looking at everything else and start looking at themselves.
Hey, that's a good point, Marcus.
Hey, Corey, can I tell you this?
Thanks for the call, Marcus.
Hey, Corey, let me tell you this. Some people always look at what the pastors have and all this and that, and they keep talking about one. I don't know who it was talking about 65% was going bad and everything else like that. But something that Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians 2:17, something very interesting. He said, "The ones who peddle the word of God for profit," but then he turned around and said, but we preach Christ. So he talked about that there is that group who peddle the word for profit, but there is a we group. And so there is a we group that who preaches Christ. Who, and you said it yourself before. You said, you know, when you had that one friend of yours who had that hustle where because she went and bought some ordained license where she can marry people.
You talking about Tangerine?
Yeah,
Tangerine's a preacher off the internet.
After the internet. And you said something very interesting. One thing I do know, Luther McKinstry is very serious on what he does and take very serious in a way. This thing I take very serious. But you have the very ones, but it's not the majority.
I believe you.
Right.
James from Louisiana. James, come on, get on, talk to me. Get your point in, because we got a couple of more calls we got to get in. James?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to tell you, man, I appreciate the show. You a true talent. But on the topic of whether church is a hustle or not, see, I'm from the South, born and bred, and church is real big down here. I grew up in the church, but I think at times certain churches can be a hustle. And the good churches, you know, you better open your mouth to say that. And the reason why I say that is when you go to the good churches, the churches where you actually learn something, you leave there feeling like you gained something. You know what I'm saying? You leave there feeling like you learned something, like you know, like you can leave there with something. But when you go there and you feel hustled, me personally, I leave feeling like, man, what the hell am I doing here? You know, because I've been in churches where the pastor set up and called congregation members out by name, saying brother so and so could put this much in the offering basket, but won't. He is not a good Christian. I've seen this with my own eyes. To me, that's a hustle. That's the pimp game. I know it.
That's right. I'm trying to get a few more callers in before this hour is up. But I appreciate that point, man. And it should be called out. That's basically why I did this show.
Thank you for calling.
Because people with good intent and people who are doing, you know, what's right, it shows. But the people who don't have good intent, it shows. But a lot of people are scared to say something because they are preachers. Sati Wade from Indy. Sati Wade. Did I say that right?
Sati Wade, and thanks for taking my call. Look, here's my comment. This thing that people are calling God, right, is infinite. Meaning it can't be defined, it can't be compartmentalized, and all these religions out here are trying their best to express in a finite way what is infinite. The hustle is when one particular religion says that its expression is the expression. And the hustle, as far as Christianity is concerned, comes with the idea that the Bible is the word and the only word of God. That's where the hustle begins, and that's where the hustle is maintained within Christian religion. The Bible, I'd like to hear one of these pastors that's on your show tell the people how they know that the Bible is the word of God. You can believe that it is, but nobody can say that they know that is.
All right, let's give them a chance to say something because we're almost out of time. One of you guys want to say something?
I would love to tackle that. This is Chuck. I'll tell you how I know.
I hate to rush you, but we run short on time.
How much time I got? 20 seconds?
Yeah, give me about 30 seconds.
Okay, all right. Number one,
if you can.
Because of the canonicity of the Bible, which is a word to say how it was formed and how it was formulated. Supernaturally, it was formulated when churches in Africa, Europe, and the Middle East came together at the Council of Nicaea. That's one way. And they had been using the same books, although there were many books written during that time. They'd all been using the same books during that period. I've got 100 things I can tell you. That's just one. I got at least 5 that would at least rank with that one. But supernaturally, they were all using Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Acts, and Romans, and 1st and 2nd Corinthians, etc., the books that we now call the New Testament. The authenticity of the Bible is verified by how it survived its critics.
Yeah, it is. Well, I hope the brother from Indy can grow some knowledge from that. I hate that the time flew by on us, because there was so much more I'm sure we all had to say.
We were having
and get
fun.
out.
Yeah, you keep learning.
Yeah.
But can you guys just say your name and where you from again, or whatever you want to shout out? I know y'all church might have a MySpace page.
Corey, you're something. You know, you're something. Let's pray for him right now.
Lay hands on him.
Yes. Go ahead, listen.
thehighwaychurch.org or listingpage.com. That's how I can be contacted.
There you go.
And I'm Chuck Singleton, Loveland Church in Ontario, California, and Santa Monica. You can get me on MySpace, on Facebook, or on my website, chucksingleton.com.
There you go.
And Luther McKinstry, you can always reach me on luthermckinstry.org. And also, you already know about the movie that's coming out soon on me, and the documentary, which is listing page is in also.
There it is.
It's coming out soon, so on national television, so you can always catch that.
There it is. So if you guys got questions for these guys, there's ways to get in contact with them. They just gave you that right there. We got to get ready to wrap it up, Darlene.
That was nice.
You all right?
I'm
glad we did this show. It's just the time goes by so fast. We got to put it together differently next time.
And we preachers want to say thank you, Corey.
Oh, yes. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And I want to let everybody know I'm the Corey Holcomb on Twitter, and you can catch me coming out of some bitch crib in your neighborhood. Corey Holcomb, 5150 Show. We will be back in 2 weeks. Next week, they shutting us down. All right.
Memorial Day.
Memorial
Day.
Peace out.
Peace.